Good morning. Hi, everyone. We're at pattern-collections.com, the website. There's no app. It's just the website. And I want to remind you, since it's Monday, I'm going to scroll down here and we're going to remind you that this PayPal button, that one works. If you want to help keep this website free from advertising and you have an extra couple of bucks, donation to cpttangling.com would really be helpful. This isn't my website. This belongs to Ina. Like I said, she pays for this out of her own pocket, and any monies that we can donate to her to help keep this website running would be helpful. I don't have a Patreon or anything like that to support myself, but I do recommend helping Ina out. Speaking of Patreon and so forth, I don't know what YouTube is doing, but all of a sudden, everybody that I know that's on YouTube, all their viewerships have dropped significantly. I don't know what YouTube's doing. I don't know what videos they're suggesting to you, but I don't usually push the subscribe and the bell notification thing. However, if you're not getting the videos from any of your YouTube folk that you usually watch, I would suggest going into that little subscription tab and checking your subscriptions and making sure that you're still subscribed. And you may find that your people that you watch are posting, but you're just not getting notifications. So just an FYI. Meanwhile, we're going to scroll down under pattern focus to where we're going to find our pattern. Today, we're going to actually use the folded technique, this one from October 2019. And we're going to talk about, it's just a technique. And it's kind of long here because it's the whole write-up about the technique. But basically, all you're doing is sort of a log cabin type shape. You're doing this, where you do one side, then the next, then the next, then the next, and then you just keep going around in circles, right? So you can have a shape that looks like this, sort of a log cabin-y, but you can do it in a hexagon, you can do it in a circle, you can do interesting non-standard grids. There's one that's all wonky in a grid form. There's one sort of in a circular thing. You can do whatever you want with this technique. So rather than doing a particular pattern, I'm just going to do this technique. I'm going to fill in a page with this technique. And that's all I'm going to do today because I feel like doing something simple. I feel like doing something on a brightly colored piece of paper. So what should we pick? Should we pick this yellow? Did we do yellow last time? No, we did orange last time. Oh, I've got a lot of this pretty blue. Let's use a pretty blue. Okay, turn on my light so you can see the actual color of that pretty blue. Ooh, see, much better with the light on. And we are just gonna make some sort of shape. Shall I draw it with my pencil first, or should I just go for it? I'll draw with my pencil first. I'm going to give myself a nice big border because that's what I feel like. And it's not even a straight border. I'm going to divide it up into, I don't know, some spaces that look like this and maybe put a curvy bit in it. That looks good. Okay, can you guys see that? That's what I've done. Maybe I want this a little smaller. No, I think I'm going to leave it big. I was going to make it smaller, but... And let's get ourselves a writing utensil. You know, I think I'm going to write with a color today. Let's draw with blue. I feel like drawing with blue. So this particular pen is a Micron PN pen. PN just means that it doesn't have a nib size. It has a plastic nib instead. So it's approximately the size of their 03 or 05 size nibs. And then I'm just going to go for it. Let's do the border that I drew first. And if I'm not directly on my pencil line, that's okay. And I do something up here and around like that, and something here, and something here, like so. And like I said, it's not exactly on my pencil line, and that's okay. I can erase that. That is absolutely okay. How's your Flag Day? I guess this is going to be on Flag Day. How's your Flag Day going? It's also heading toward Father's Day, correct? And it's also my husband's birthday week. So lots of things are going to be going on in my life during this week. Let's start with this one. And we're going to go here, and then here, and then here. And we're just going to do that same thing all the way around. You'll notice that I'm not even really making super sure that those are straight and even or whatever. I don't care if they've got a bit of a whoop to them. Matter of fact, a little bit of a whoop is more interesting. There you go. That's all there is to it. That's the pattern. Well, that's the technique. You can use it and add it to any pattern that you want. Makes it really interesting. Let's see, we'll go 1, 2, and then 3 over here. So it's not the same as paradox, but it's similar. But much more like a log cabin type pattern. Isn't that nice? Easy. Simple. What did you guys do this weekend? We had a wedding that we participated in. People were really good with staying within their family groups and their social bubbles. That was good. Although things, I don't know about where you are, but things here are lightening up a bit with restrictions. More and more people are vaccinated. We're finally opening up our state. So we were allowed to have a wedding. That was nice. And it was a small. The groom estimated 50 people were going to come because he didn't have it was a very casual sort of a wedding. So they didn't have a formal invitation with RSVPs. So they weren't 100% sure how many people were going to come. They did have RSVP, but it was just like online invitation, and not everybody responded. So they weren't 100% sure. They figured about 50, and I think they had about 35 or 40. They didn't quite have 50 because we put out tables for 50, and there were 2 tables that weren't used. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, about 12 seats that weren't used at the reception, although some people didn't stay for the reception, so they might have had 50 at the wedding. But it was nice. I was the photographer. That's a challenging job. Anybody who is a wedding photographer, kudos to you, my friend. My word, that's a challenging job, especially by myself, because there were some photos that the bride wanted specifically, and in order for me to do that, I had to kind of be in two places at once, which was a challenge. So it's like, okay, you want this particular picture before you go down the aisle with you and your mom who's walking you down the aisle. She wanted that right at the end of the aisle. But then we also needed pictures of her walking down the aisle, so I had to take a picture of her at the back, and I told her, just stay there until I run to the front, and then once I'm at the front, then you can start walking, because I couldn't be in two places at once. It was kind of a challenge, but it was fun. We enjoyed ourselves, so I had a few days off. I had Friday off for the rehearsal, Saturday off for the wedding. And I requested Sunday off to recover, which I really needed. And today is Monday, and I ended up with that day off too. I ended up with 4 days off in a row, which I did not ask for. But I will take it gladly. So I'm feeling really good today that I've had enough rest between yesterday and today from the weekend. And glad to be here with you guys and drawing. Oh, I went the wrong way. Oh well. That one should have gone that way first. But you will never see it, and it doesn't matter. Here we go. See? Perfect. And now to do this sort of roundy shape. The roundy shapes are a little more, just a little more challenging, but not hard. We just want to follow that curve. So I'm going to actually follow that curve in maybe 3. Let's do it from here. And we're going to do it 2 like that. And 3 like this. 1, 2, and 3. You can make it fit any shape. Just like so. Hey, look at how easy that was. And now we can do some shading, coloring if we want. I may do a little both. This is, which direction do I want it to live? How do I want this page to present itself? Roundy bit to the top, roundy bit to the side. This is the way I drew it. Facing me, I had that pointy corner in the corner, but I don't think that's the way I want it to live. Actually, I think I want that pointy corner in this corner. There we go. And let's do some shading. Now, I'm trying to decide if I want to shade with pen or with pencil. Let's do pencil. Let's start with the color, with the pencil, and work our way up. Let's do this one. I'm going to do a 4B as my pencil. Let me sharpen this puppy. Give it a little point. There we go, that's better. I'm just going to start here, and everywhere where it overlaps, I'm just going to give it a bit of graphite, and then I'll smudge it out. Okay, so I'm going to start like that. Do you want to see that closer up? Start like that. So here, and here, and there, and there, and there, and there, and here, and there. Kind of a zigzag, like so. And then when you take your blending stump and you blend it out, yeah, it looks like that. Just like so. Really darken that inner part. Oops, wrong direction. And see how that looks like it's going downward, inward, more than this where it's kind of flat. And some of this needs a little bit more blending out. Like that. Okay. And I'm just going to do that to all of them. And then I'll probably come back in here with some white and get a little bit of shine on the highlighted parts. So there's not much to tell you while I'm doing this. So maybe I'll answer a question from my book. I think I did all those already. Changed the page. I'm up to page 70. Can you guys believe that? Page 70? And there's like 3, 4, 5 questions on a page. Although we've skipped some of them because some of them just are not appropriate questions. Give me a second, I gotta think. If you had to permanently give up your children to the care of someone you know, who would you wish it to be? Oh, so that's sort of a question of sort of like what you would put in your will. If something should happen to you, where would you want your kids to go? I only have one, and he's now grown. But when he was little, our wishes were my husband's brother, the one who passed away recently. Yeah, he was my son's godfather, and he was in our will to take care of my son should something happen to us. He's so much like, my son is so much like my brother-in-law. It's really kind of eerie. My brother-in-law was 10 years younger than my husband. And so when I met my brother-in-law, he was only 10 years old. So he was a lot like my little brother as well. And when my son was born, there was a very strong family resemblance to my husband's family. My husband's little brother looked a lot like my husband, and they both look a lot like their dad. Strong genes in that family. And so my husband, as my son was growing up, constantly called my son his little brother's name, like all the time. And And as my son grew up, he became more and more behaviorally similar to my brother-in-law than to my husband, which I found very fascinating. And now as a grown man, he is very much like my brother-in-law. It's just kind of eerie. Do you have people like that in your family where there is a younger generation who is very similar to an older one? And I just think it's interesting because, yes, we were close, but, my son didn't see his uncle every day or anything. But he's picked up and he has so many mannerisms and speech patterns like his uncle. It's just really interesting. At least I find it interesting. Anyway, that was an easy question because it's hopefully everybody who has children has that answer to that question. If something should happen to me, who do I want to raise my children? It's a very important question. The person you choose not only has to be someone who loves your kids, but is compatible with your lifestyle, has your same values and like if you had a sibling that didn't share your values, that maybe didn't share your faith, or didn't share your not necessarily political party views, but your general view on economics, or even as simple things like well, absolutely child rearing type things, what's a punishable offense in your household may not be a punishable offense in somebody else's. How children are disciplined, very important. I wouldn't leave my child with someone who had a discipline style that was completely opposite of mine, especially if my discipline style did not include any kind of corporal punishment, but theirs did. No way, no how would that person be raising my kid, even if I love them. Even if I love them. If their parenting style was completely opposite of mine, there's no way. No way. I don't think I did that one quite correctly, but it's okay. It all works out in the smudging, right? Anyway, if you're a new parent and you haven't made those choices yet, very important that you do have this stuff written down. We are currently dealing with a good friend of ours who is elderly and is starting to go through the first stages of dementia, and she knows it. And we're discovering that there's a lot of things in her financial and health directives and things that make it very difficult for her family to help take care of her because she didn't make decisions ahead of time on certain things, and they're not written down. She may have made a directive, but it's not written down. It's not legal. And so the kids are having a hard time helping her with things like banking because they're not on any of the accounts, or and she's not to the point yet where she's considered legally that they can take over, because legally she's not capable of making a decision. The problem is that she's starting to forget. So when she does make a decision, she doesn't remember doing it. And then she says, well, why are we doing such and such? And it's like, well, you decided that, Mom. And no, I didn't. Yeah, you did. And that's becoming a very difficult thing. So, make sure you've got your all your stuff in order. When my brother-in-law passed, he passed without a will. And it's very hard on his wife. Yeah, it's just hard. Get your crap in order, folks. I know it's not always the most pleasant thing to do, and you don't think, you think, oh, I'm not going to go until, I'm 100. No, that's not necessarily true. And if you love your family, you love those who you will leave behind, the kindest, most loving, and most generous thing you can do is to get your shit in order. Sorry about the language, but honestly, that is, just get your crap in order. Now, we've had our crap in order, and it's now outdated, and we've realized that after going through my brother-in-law's stuff, and we've realized, oh, we haven't updated our information since my son was a teenager. And it's just something that you don't think about, but we need to update that. We need to make sure that all our ducks are in a row, so that if something should happen to one of us or both of us, that our son has that information, and he has the power and the authority to take care of what he needs to take care of when we're gone. And if you don't have that taken care of, it's just makes the process even worse, because you're already in a state of vulnerability and sorrow and grief, and now you have to also be frustrated and angry at your loved one that they left behind this mess. Don't leave a mess behind for your family, folks. I didn't think I would be talking about that today, but it's been on my mind. I think mostly because yesterday we spent a long time with that family that is struggling with their mom, and she was there for the conversation. It wasn't like anybody was hiding anything from her, but she goes, well, I don't remember doing that. I know, Mom. That's why we need to fix this. We need to fix these things. We need to update your trust. We need to do these things while you still can make decisions. Hard thing to go through, isn't it? Okay, well, anyways, there's the folded technique. Simple, just a little bit of highlighting for me, some shadows. If you want to make your shadows even deeper, you can. Some of those look like they maybe should be just slightly deeper, like maybe in the deepest corners, like down here. Just slightly. I just think I want this middle bit slightly darker. Yeah, that's better. That makes it feel deeper, like those folds go even farther down in. So I want to make this bottom part So what I did is, rather than coming back with that 4B pencil again, I'm coming in with an even softer pencil. I have a 6B now, and it puts down a darker, blacker bit of pencil to make those bits in the corners deeper. And then just smudge them out. See? Oh, much better. Much better. Okay, look at that. That made a world of difference. Just those couple of little bits of slightly darker. I like that. All right, I think this one's done. I will see you guys on the next video. You guys have a great day. Go out and do something nice for someone today. Take care of your loved ones by getting your crap together so that if something should happen to you, they know what your wishes are and they know where your stuff is so that they don't have to hunt for it. It's just so much easier. Anyway, you be kind to one another, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.